curious just to know. Tell me more about your vision.
My vision. Okay. My vision, really, in a nutshell, I've been in business for like 30 plus years, Wallace. Yeah. So it's it's a long time to be in business for. So I would like to think that I've got a little bit of wisdom that I can share and offer from 30
For
years of
sure.
business, right? But I think my vision's actually shifted quite substantially, and I think that's probably the same for most of the listeners here. Is
Uh-huh.
that, you know what I mean? Like that, your vision shifts, well, like when your priorities change and
Oh
just
yeah.
life changes, right? So for me, my vision has actually shifted recently. One of the things that I specialize in is I help founders to effectively scale up and exit from their business operations within 12 to
Wow.
24 months. So one of the things that I'm super passionate about, one thing that I've been doing for the last 7 years, is I've been living the free life. What does that mean in a nutshell, right? So there's no point in me preaching about something if I've never lived it before, right?
Uh-huh.
That would me being a hypocrite, right?
Yeah.
So, so for the last 7 years, I've been you want to call it a digital nomad, if you want to call it that,
Love
right?
that.
So I've had the opportunity where I basically had the opportunity to be able to set up my business. Now I can work wherever I want in the world. I could be sitting on a beach in Hawaii with my pina colada and making money on my laptop. So,
Love that.
but for most people, right, they have this ideology or this
Uh-huh.
perceptual reality of shit, I would love to do that. I would love
Yeah.
to achieve that, right? But for
Yeah.
some particular reason, right, whatever their thought process of their ideology of what success looks like and why they actually, uh, started a business in the first place is so, kind of out of place of what they currently do on a day to day. So what I do is I show them a different way, right?
Love that.
Um, so for the last 7 years, I've been living in Scandinavia. I've been living in the Mediterranean. I've just got back from the UK because obviously I have a British accent, as you can imagine.
Uh-huh.
Most people turn around and say, "Why the did you ever come back here?" That's a very good question. But I've got kids as well. So I've got 4 kids, two
Wow.
older, 2 younger ones. So there was
Love
kind
that.
of like, like a personal element. But going back to your question around vision. So one thing that I know that many people don't know is, and I don't know if you can relate to this, but do you know of any businesses now, say they're an accountancy practice or they're an attorney and they've been in business, they've got like 35 years of experience, right? They're so good at what they do, like they're like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
All right. But the big challenge is they'll get to their 50s or 60s and I'll ask them the question. I'll be like, "So tell me, what's your exit strategy looking like?" And they're like,
Mm.
pause, right?
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, so less than 48% of people in this world have some sort of plan, right? It might be in their head or whatever it might be, but less than 18% of people that are in business actually exit from their business.
Wow.
So my vision is to improve those statistics quite significantly, right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the reason why. So if I'm running an accountancy practice, I'm an attorney, whatever it is, and I've been in business that long, right? I'm obviously shit hot at what I do, right?
Uh-huh.
But but the big challenge, okay, is I'll ask them, I'm like, so what are you gonna do when you retire or do whatever it is? Or what? They're like, I just gonna wind my business down. I'm like, what? You're just gonna wind what about your clients? Oh, they'll
Mhm.
find someone. I'm like, dude, what is the matter with you? Like, why don't you see your business as an asset? Like, you can actually be making some money off your business, and you're telling me you just want to wind it down. I pity you. I literally use that word. I pity you because they have this ideology. This is interesting, right? Because they're so good at what they do. They're super passionate about what they do. They live on the day-to-day basis. They live in the operations, right? All the time. And the big challenge is that they then don't spend enough time working on the business. They've been working in it for so many years. And so it's like kind of, you've heard this analogy before. You cannot pull a horse to water and make it drink, right? You've heard that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly the same scenario. Yeah.
Come on.
So that's my vision, my friend.
I love that. I love that vision. And it's such a unique vision in itself because you've had that experience of running your own businesses and you've now got this freedom, this digital nomad life. And for I love the energy and passion that you carry. I
Appreciate
want to recognize that because as you speak, even through the screen across the pond, I can feel how passionate you are about this vision of helping business owners, executives make that exit, have that exit strategy, and that's so huge. And I would like to ask the question. The follow up here is do you ever approach any of these business owners that maybe it's not that they're wanting to dwindle down their business, but maybe they've become so in love with the business that it's hard for them to let it go? And kind of what have you've been, if have you seen that in your experience with the work that you do, and how have you navigated that?
That's a really good question. I would probably say that yes, absolutely. I come probably have daily conversations with people like that. And listen, it is a mindset more than anything else,
For
right?
sure.
There's a lot of psychology that goes on,
Uh-huh.
right? Think about this, right? You start up a business many moons ago, right? You've put your blood, sweat, and tears into it, right? It's your baby. That's what it is. It's your baby. And so there's this kind of like, there is a number of things that going through your mind. Number one, you have this kind of fear of letting go, right?
Mm,
That's a big fear
yeah,
that tends to
that's
come up,
huge.
right? Um, but there's also this kind of like, should we say, not just fear of letting go, but there's this kind of like, because I built this, I'm so proud of it.
Hmm.
I don't want someone to take control of it, right?
Yeah,
So there's this
that
sense of
that
like
control. Yeah.
loss of ownership, loss of
Uh-huh.
control, right? You got it, right? So you've got this loss of ownership, this loss of control, but it's also the fear of if I make myself redundant from my business, whether it be to exit or
Mhm.
whatever it is, what the am I gonna do?
It's so good. Yeah.
Right? So
Come
so
on.
so 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 here's the thing, like, one of my questions is like, so I get a lot of people that come to me and are like, "Hey, so I'm thinking about exiting the business or whatever." It's like, "Great. Tell me about your succession plan." And they're like, "What? What do you mean? I just want the money." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. It's a bigger than that, right?
Yeah.
Anyone can sell a business to make money, but
It's
I
so good.
know that deep down, it's not about necessarily about money."
Come on.
So some of the leaders that I work with, right, a lot of founders, right, I get them to understand not just the vision that they want to create, but also the impact that they want to leave and the legacy more than anything else. So it goes back to what is the impact I want to create and what's the legacy that I want to leave, right? So they may have this, I don't know, they may have this visualization of I want to do more philanthropy work. Might want to go into helping more young entrepreneurs start their own business or whatever it might be. Yeah, I want them to better get a better understanding of, okay, you've exited your business, you've made yourself redundant. Now, what the hell are you going to do now?
Yeah.
So there is this fear of um, so when you've been in business for a long time, there's this kind of fear of, retirement is it's kind of seen as a bit of a negative thing, right?
Yeah.
When we think of retirement, the word I don't know what do you when you think of the word retirement, what does that mean to you?
Idea of success.
Mhm.
So I'm curious, what is success for you?
Success for me is I kind of given you a little bit of a take on it already, but for
For sure.
me, because I've been in business, like I'm not driven by money. I couldn't give a
Yeah.
shit about the money, right? My
Yeah.
my version of success is being able to create a legacy, right?
So good.
I want people to remember me for the right reasons,
Yeah.
okay? And that right reason is obviously to help people with their exit, to help them to live a much happier, healthier, more purposeful led life, right? That's
Mhm.
kind of that is what I would see what success is. But success to me is also around the impact that I make and the lives that I change, the value that I give, right?
Yeah.
And value is very subjective, right? It,
Oh
it
yeah.
is. But ultimately, if I'm also a big fan of excellence, right?
Oh yeah.
You know,
What's
so
that?
you might have heard that, right? So
Uh-huh.
my background is in elite athletics, right? I used to
Mhm.
study and train with Olympic athletes, okay?
Yeah, I
So
did see that.
I was kind of like wired into already kind of like training my mindset of what excellence was. I already had a taste of what excellence was. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally makes sense.
And so every morning, every day is always making sure that if it's all about the 1%, right? So what does that
Mm.
mean in layman's terms? Every day making sure that and you would have heard this from a very well-known author called Darren Hardy called The Compound Effect,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah, I
So
think back here on my
you
bookshelf.
got it. Great book, right?
Yeah,
And
great
it's
book.
so true. So if you improve your personal growth, your learning, right? Whatever it is, okay? But I'm a big thing on personal growth and learning. Now, if you was to watch a YouTube video, listen to a podcast, read a book, right? And you did that religiously, every day your knowledge is going to go up by 1%,
So
right?
good. Yep.
So it's kind of like this version of personal excellence, being the best version of yourself, but moving the needle every single day.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.